Let me quickly talk to you about the top 5 tax mileage tracker apps for self-employed and small businesses. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. How you doing today? I hope you are doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous if you were to ask me. If you are doing as great as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or vodka and let's roll. Today I want to have a conversation with you about a very simple item. A very simple question. What are the top 5 tax mileage tracker apps for self-employed and small businesses? But before we get into the nitty-gritty, please check out this small video. We actually have a very rigorous approach when it comes to tracking, when it comes to monitoring, assessing, and categorizing the tax tracking apps that we have reviewed for this show and other shows. Check this out. All right. Now, number five. Number 5, when it comes to the top 5 tax mileage tracker, we have Everlance. We have actually scored this company 9 over 10. Great app, by the way, folks. And the free version includes up to 30 trips per month. The premium version is reasonably priced, so you're looking at $8 per month or $60 a year, and you can pay this annually if you want to pay the $60 a year. The team version is also available, but you got to contact the company so they can give you the proper pricing. What are the pros and cons? What do we like? We like the fact that the pros. Everlance is simple, they have a clean interface, and users report that Everlance is simpler, more intuitive, and easier to use than other mileage tracking apps. And in terms of IRS forms, the app will automatically generate IRS forms itemizing your mileage deductions. And you also have a very nice feature that we love, the photo expense tracking. And so what you can do here is that you can snap pictures of your receipts and upload them to the cloud. What are the drawbacks? What are the cons? You have the free version is kind of limited. So just 30 trips per month on the free version means that Everlance's free capabilities are minimal. Especially think about it, if you are a very busy business person, you're an entrepreneur, you travel all the time, 30 trips it's very low. One other con that we've seen is that the automatic tracking troubles. So some reviewers have reported that Everlance sometimes fails to start automatically at the beginning of a trip. So that could mean that you have to keep an eye on the app to make sure it's working. But the thing here is, folks, overall, Everlance is very easy to use, and the app will let you track receipts and automatically generates all the IRS forms that you need. And the one thing I also want to say here is that if you don't track a huge amount of mileage for your business and you just want a simple app that gets the job done, Everlance may be for you. Also, if your business is small, if you file your own taxes, automatic IRS form creation could save you work during tax season. One thing I want you to pay attention, folks, is that Everlance have received some negative reviews about their automatic tracking capabilities. I already told you that, but you have to constantly see again that your tax situation, whether at the business level or at the personal level, is not too complicated. If it's not too complicated, then Everlance might be the app for you. Again, our score of this app, 9 over 10. Next, we have Hurdle. We have scored this app 9 over 10 also, And the free version has the free version allows a single user, only one user, and there is no automatic tracking. But for the full version, you pay $7.99 per month or $58.99 per year if you pay annually. What are the features here? What are the pros here? Other expenses. So Hurdle is a full-fledged expense tracking app. Mileage tracking is just one of its capabilities. That's one thing we love when we were actually investigating this app. They actually provide the full gamut of expenses, not just mileage tracking. You also have app integration, so Hurdle can connect to your Uber, Lyft, Uber Eats, Airbnb, and other work accounts to track your income and calculate your taxes on the fly. And you also have bank integration, so you can connect Hurdle to your business checking account to track income and expenses. What are the drawbacks? What are the cons here? The app starts slowly, so some users have reported that the app takes up to 1 mile of traveling before automatic tracking starts, meaning that you can't track that first mile and deduct it from your taxes. All right, so basically this is it. Now, the overview in general, folks, where Hurdle stands out is by integrating with rideshare and similar gig economy apps and calculating your taxes on the fly. So, and this is kind of important. So the fact that they are integrated to Uber, Lyft, Airbnb, and Uber Eats, because if you're just starting your business, or let's not even talk about that. Let's say you want to track and pay estimated quarterly taxes. This can be a blessing because on-the-fly calculation can make it much easier to estimate in advance how much you owe the IRS. And since Hurdle offers other expense tracking capabilities, it could also potentially solve your expense tracking needs for good. So if you're just starting your business or dipping your toes into expense tracking apps in general, Hurdle might be the one-stop shop you're looking for. Now, the one thing you also need to remember is that you have to be careful about making sure this matches your business needs. And Hurdle has been very, very popular among gig economy workers, solopreneurs, and freelancers. And Hurdle also explicitly targets their app at real estate agents. Number 3, drum roll, TripLog. TripLog is kind of cool too. Our score 9.5 over 10. So in the free version, no automatic tracking, and you have a 5 vehicle limit. And in the full version, the basic plan starts at $2 per month, and the premium is $4 per month. And if you need enterprise pricing, you got to contact the company. What are the pros here? Many. We really love TripLog. We tested it. It's very nice. Multiple vehicles and drivers on a single tracking system, so you can track company mileage very easily. There are many ways to track mileage, so both manual and automatic, and you have Bluetooth connection with vehicle and compatibility and with mileage tracking devices. You also have the photo capture for expenses, so employees can record receipts for expenses they incur on their trips. And you have a relatively low price point. So if you think about it, $2 a month and $4 a month. So the basic and premium plans are significantly cheaper than those offered by other apps. This is one of the reasons why we chose it. It's very nice. So those were the pros. What about the cons? So the free version does not include automatic tracking. So you have to enter mileage manually with TripLog's free version. So that's more or less if you think about it, that more or less defeats the purpose of having a mileage tracking app in the first place, right? Because if you have to do it yourself, then why do you need an app? And the app will not let you test out TripLog's automatic tracking capabilities before you pay. So overall, let's just say that TripLog is kind of cool if your best mileage tracking option. I mean, it is cool for you, for your company. If you have multiple employees with multiple vehicles who need to track their mileage. So that's one thing you have to think, because the price is so low. If you have, you actually start, I would say, generating economies of scale when you have a larger workforce. And also the free version lacks automatic tracking. And make sure that you just jump into the paid version. Don't even test the free version. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another section of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. We are still discussing today the top 5 tax mileage tracker apps for self-employed and small business. Number 2, we have SherpaShare, and our score of this app 9.5 over 10. Now, the basic version, first of all, there is no free version here for SherpaShare, and the basic version will cost you $5.99 a month or $59.88 a year if you pay annually. The full version, what they call a super premium, starts at $10 a month. So what are the pros of SherpaShare? What we love with SherpaShare is that you have unlimited automatic mileage tracking. So as many trips as you can make per month, tracked automatically via GPS and stored on the cloud. And you also have what they call smart share analytics for rideshare drivers. So if you're an Uber driver or a Lyft driver, you might find SherpaShare very, very interesting. You can track hourly revenue and profits. You can chat with other drivers. You can see a heat map of where other drivers are active, and you can get recommendations on where to go based on past drives. And the only drawback, the only con we've seen is that there is no free version. I already said that. And so overall, folks, when it comes to SherpaShare, the best way to think about SherpaShare is that this app they stand out for features tailored to rideshare drivers. Its smart drive tools not only let you keep track of how much you are earning, but collect information that can help you earn more. The app's driver heat map shows you where other drivers are operating, so you can plan your locations strategically. However, there is no free version, folks. I mean, SherpaShare doesn't have that, so you'd better be sure you're going to use it before signing up. All right, so this is very important, and this is not what we like with SherpaShare is that it's not just around tax time that you need to track mileage. You can track mileage for other stuff. Let's say, for instance, you want to get an insurance, you want to buy insurance for your car, right? The insurance company will ask you to give them an estimate of your monthly or annual or quarterly mileage. So having an app like SherpaShare that can basically consolidate all the info in one spot is kind of cool. Number 1, drum roll. Number one, drum roll. The best mileage tracker app out there is MileIQ. Our score, the perfect score, 10 over 10. We gave this app a perfect A+. You have the free version. So the free version you can record up to 40 trips per month. And in the full version will cost you $5.99 per month or $59.99 per year, and this is paid annually. And what are the pros here? The pros of MileIQ. So you have automatic mileage tracking. So once you flag certain routes, MileIQ is so smart, they use artificial intelligence. The app will automatically detect them when you drive. The app will detect those routes when you drive and will classify them as expenses. And you also have the work hours, so you can set work hours during which MileIQ's automatic mileage tracking is active. And you also have integration with FreshBooks and Excel. So if you use either of these apps to manage your expense tracking, MileIQ can export reports to them. What are the drawbacks here? What are the cons? So MileIQ right now only tracks miles. So if you're looking for a pure play, if you're looking for an app that just does that, helping you track mileage, then MileIQ is your app to go. MileIQ does not offer any accounting tools like expense calculation. It just tracks how far you drive and lets you classify the trip. So this is something to think about. So overall, folks, if you're interested in MileIQ, let me just say this. The full version of MileIQ comes with every edition of Office 365 Premium. So as one of the most popular mileage tracking apps out there, MileIQ gets the job done. So for instance, when you tag trips as business, the app remembers the route and assigns it the same tag in the future. So that's kind of helpful if you think about it, because if you often drive the same route for business, making sales, for instance, making sales calls, for instance, this is pretty cool, right? So even though the app is kind of helpful in that sense, if you are a rideshare driver with routes that always vary, you might find MileIQ a little difficult to use. Then at that time, you might want to switch back to Sherpa. You can go to Sherpa, for example. And MileIQ doesn't offer any accounting capabilities beyond counting and classifying mileage, and so you won't be able to calculate your tax deductions on the fly. All right. So this is pretty much it. All right, folks. Let's just have an overview of the conversation we're having today here. What is all this about? When we talk about tax mileage tracker apps, you have to understand that mileage is just one of the travel expenses that can reduce your tax obligation. So things like lodging, food, airfare, and other travel costs can also cut you a break, right? So when you track your miles during business travel, your tax savings increase in sync with your odometer. So by keeping records of that travel consistently, accurately, and tidily is often a hassle. So if you think about things like logbooks, gas receipts, parking stubs, before you know it, your glove compartment becomes a filing cabinet. So the great thing here is that, luckily for a lot of people out there, a host of car mileage tracker apps make it easy to keep tabs on your travels. So the five apps that I've given you today are part of a large group of apps out there that do the same thing. So some free mileage trackers let you decide a limited number of trips before you have to sign up for a premium package. Other mileage apps lack a free version but offer a wealth of features at entry level. So how do you actually deduct business mileage? If you are self-employed and anytime you leave your business location, even if that business location is your house, you can deduct your mileage. One condition though, folks, and the IRS has been very adamant about this: the trip has to be for work purposes. So what are the miles that count? So meeting with clients, making a sales call, visiting the post office to send shipment to customers. These are all day-to-day examples of where you might apply the mileage tax deduction. So keep in mind that the mileage you deduct has to be ordinary and necessary. So if you drive, say, 15 miles to pick up inventory from a vendor and drive 15 miles back to your place of work, you can deduct 30 miles total. But if you take a 10-mile detour on the way back so you can visit your favorite bubble tea shop, that extra mileage cannot be deducted. It cannot. And one thing you have to understand also is that let me just speak quickly about the self-employed standard mileage rate. You hear this all the time. So you deduct mileage from your taxes using a standard per mile rate. And for 2020, that rate, which is set by the IRS every year, is 57.5 cents. So the standard rate is tied to inflation, so it will continue increasing each year. So for quick trips around town, this may not add up too much, but once you start tracking work trips, I'm talking here about attending conferences, visiting far-flung clients or vendors, once you start doing that, you will realize that the standard mileage rate can take a significant chunk out of your tax obligation. On top of that, food, lodging, and other expenses on the road are also deductible. All right, folks. Thank you so much for today's conversation. I really appreciate it. To quickly recap here, the top 5 mileage tracker apps. Number 1, we have MileIQ, 10 over 10. Number 2, SherpaShare, 9.5 over 10. Number 3, TripLog, 9.5 over 10. Number 4, Hurdle, 9 over 10. And number 5, Everlance, 9 over 10. Thank you so much for today's conversation. I really appreciate it. I will speak to you next. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.